Hello everybody, this is Van of the Venrez Rock Band, and we're making history with our first live stream today. We have a very, very special guest coming at the top of the hour here, noon West Coast time. 2 o'clock Midwest, 3 o'clock on the East Coast, 8 o'clock at night in the UK, and 9 o'clock at night on mainland Europe. We're going to have one of the top rock producers in the business. Guy who's produced bands such as Collective Soul, Tantric, Matchbox 20, and mixed hits for artists such as Kanye West and Whitesnake, Creedence Clearwater Revival, Nirvana, Soundgarden, even Peter Frampton. His name is Malcolm Springer, of course. And he'll be joining us in about 11 minutes. In the meantime, give you a little background on me. I primarily have been in executive film production of feature films. Since the pandemic, I've pretty much concentrated on making documentary films for streaming television. Our first documentary, Still Suffering, you can watch on Amazon, or you can watch it for free with commercial interruptions on Tubi. Still Suffering. It won 20 or 25 International Film Festival awards, and our agency, Safi Entertainment, put it in a major distribution, so you can watch that. We just finished principal photography on a rock documentary, and we're almost done funding a 4-part miniseries on the Battle of Zama, where Roman General Scipio finally defeated Hannibal in Carthage, which is modern-day Turkey. We're going to be uncovering Scipio's camp, Hannibal's camp, and the battlefield itself, bringing up all kinds of amazing artifacts. And I'm really looking forward to getting over there to Tunisia and being a part of that. And then I sang in a band at 17. You know, we were just a bunch of kids in Encino, California, in the Valley back at that time period, and they all kind of flaked out. And I walked away from it because, you know, it wasn't like London or Liverpool. At that time, it was like 1972. So I flash forward a few decades later, at 54, I never let any of my singer-songwriter friends, producers, musicians know that I could actually sing. And what I used to do when I got home from work, you know, I had a PA and a playlist, and I would fire that up, grab a microphone, and karaoke an hour set, jumping and dancing around. It actually kept me in really good shape. And I had a friend who was staying with me who borrowed a cordless drill from a mutual friend, who called me and said, "Hey, I need to come over and pick up that drill." And I'm like, "I'll leave the front door open for you. I'll be home from work at whatever time it was." And I was about halfway through the set. You know how you feel somebody's nearby. I turned around, and his name is Lance, and he's a great keyboard player and producer and songwriter, and like his jaw was dropped. He's like, "I didn't know you could sing. We're going into the studio." And I'm like, "No way, I'm too old for that shit." It was like 54. And the next thing I knew, I was in the studio. Someone else was writing the music and the lyrics, and then my roommate, Tommy Johnson, a fellow singer-songwriter, was good friends with Jason Womack, who was formerly the bass player with Juliette Lewis and the Licks for a number of years, helped write some of her biggest hits, and he introduced me to Jason, and Jason started playing with us, and we thought the project could be really good, and it was kind of lame the way it was. So we fired everybody, and we wrote a record, and put a band together, and we ended up playing a show at what was the Key Club at the time, right next to the Rainbow. We were on Hollywood Boulevard. It was absolutely packed. You know, had a pretty powerful band lineup at the time. We had Davis from Juliet Lewis and Lips on guitar, Don Teschner on guitar, with Jason from Rod Stewart. And the next thing I knew, we were on tour with LA Guns, and then Alice Cooper, and then Slash, and Buck Cherry, and we kind of blew up. And just recently signed a new record deal with Wake Up Music Rocks, main offices in Miami. We have offices all over the world. We have a new album coming out called Sip the Cup. The title track, Sip the Cup, the music video will release on February 15th. The single will go to all streaming platforms on February 16th. And it will begin a major radio promotion on February 20th. It takes about 5 or 6 weeks for it to get way up in the charts into heavy rotations. And we'll be looking forward to touring behind this new record. We'll be picking out this year, probably in the spring, late April, early May. I'll be finding that out probably sometime around mid-March. And you know, we're going to pick a handful of great songs from the new album and mix in some of the great songs from our last record with Pavement Entertainment, and also mix in some songs from our 4 previous indie albums. Our last record, Purgatory Awaits, we released 2 singles to radio. Show Me, there's a music video for it on YouTube that actually got us the record deal with Pavement, even though we elected not to option a second record and move on to signing with Wake Up Music Rocks. Pavement's a great label, although there's just some opportunities with this new label we didn't have with Pavement that are to our benefit. But Show Me hit number 2 on the charts, and then we released the second single, Each and Every Day, from the record Purgatory Awaits. And it was doing really, really well. About 10 or 12 of the biggest bands on earth kind of dropped records at the same time we released that, so that hit 17 on the charts. And I'm real excited about seeing how our first single, Sip the Cup's going to do on the charts, and that'll be followed by the second single from the new album, Sip the Cup. The second single is called Crossed the Line. And I'm real excited to see how those do on USA commercial radio. In the meantime, I'm kind of a multifaceted guy, you know. I do, obviously, I am the lead singer and songwriter for the Venrez rock band, and I am an executive producer of documentary films, so I'm a filmmaker. 2 careers that I absolutely love. But I also do master classes for people to learn how to break into Hollywood as filmmakers. And I do master classes on sales closing techniques. And even though I was born Jewish, I'm more of a spiritual person than religious. But I'm actually an officially ordained Christian minister, and I do a lot of marriage counseling for Christian couples. And of course, you don't have to be Christian to get the counseling from me. Even though I look 40, I just turned 69 on January 21st. For some very odd reason, I still look very young. And you get the best of both worlds. You know, they say youth is wasted on the young, because by the time you learn enough to really enjoy your life, you're too old to do what you could have done when you were younger. So I guess I'm an exception to that, and I'm an example of if you believe everything is possible and it's never too late to live your dreams. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. So we're going to be having a combination of celebrities, actors, producers, other rock stars that we're going to be talking to on live streams. Be doing some master classes on filmmaking, sales techniques, and we may even have some couples on here getting some marriage counseling, something we can all learn from. I see there's Malcolm in front of all of his platinum records. Looks like he just got up for a second because he knows he's got 1 minute before he joins us. And I can't think of a better guest for our historical first live stream. And hey, Margaret, good to see you here. Appreciate your support. Hey, no problem, man. Yeah, I actually quit smoking about 3 weeks ago, brother. But I'm kind of using a vape. But I'm in the gym 3 days a week now, getting in shape to tour, and figured I wanted to bring some more vocal power and range to my vocals. So I'm no longer smoking cigarettes like we were when we were doing the vocals for the new record.
Hey, well, how did you quit? Because I need to quit.
You know what? I bought a vape to kind of like slow down the amount of cigarettes I was smoking. And
Right.
I immediately dropped to like 1 or 2 or 3 a day. And then, after about 4 or 5 days, the smell of cigarette smoke just made me nauseated. So I got lucky and that just kind of worked for me. I'm going to put the vape down in about a week and see how it goes. And, hopefully I might just have a few days of uncomfort and I'll be done. If not, you can always get that Mercaderm patch, put that on your arm.
Yeah, I thought about that, man. But God, last time I did that, it wasn't good. We talked about that. It wasn't good.
It's been a real struggle for me. I've tried it. I did that Chantix. That screwed me up for years. That shit's horrible.
Right.
Just gives you the worst dreams on earth. It fucked up my whole body. It took me 8 months.
I know, man.
Stay away from that shit.
Yeah, I tried that when I was younger. I tried to stop smoking with that stuff, man. That was not a good idea. Well, it's a lot of people freaking commit suicide on that stuff, man.
Yeah, that's
what I've
true.
heard.
But
but it gave me just terrible dreams, man.
Just go to a smoke shop. Yeah, I had a couple dreams on that as long as I live, I will never forget. They're so vivid and scary. And yeah, some people lost their lives on it. But I've got this right here. It's made by Flume. And go with the flavored ones. This is peach berry. You can get tobacco, but I find the tobacco one doesn't take the craving away to smoke cigarettes. The flavored ones do. And you do get some heat, so you're a little bit thirsty. You drink a lot of water, but you're not getting that tar, And I would recommend you go to a smoke shop, get the Flume, the peach berry, and just keep that by your desk and use that instead and see if it does for you what it does for me, because it cut me down to 1 or 2 a day, really, for about a week, and then I didn't even want one anymore.
Well, I've got to do something because I got 2 big tracking sessions coming up, and that's why I was a little late, trying to get all that stuff prepared for that, and drums load in them all night, and then off to the races Wednesday morning early. So
Yeah,
then I got
you're a
another
busy
practice
guy,
session.
man. And thank you so much for taking the time to be with me today. And
Man, you're not just an artist; you're a friend, and I love hanging with you, man.
yeah, I
It,
miss you,
I
man.
mean,
That was a lot of fun. So
yeah, it was, man.
for
It
all of
was.
our
Sorry about
fans
the
out
play.
there, I've been talking. Malcolm's the first time. Jason Womack writes the music, plays guitar in the band and backing vocals, and he pretty much produced everything we've done. So, unfortunately, he's been recovering from colon cancer, and this is the first time that we recorded a record, and I had my vocals produced by a producer other than Jason. And Malcolm has done some tremendous work. He's produced bands such as Matchbox 20, Tantric, Collective Soul.
No, I didn't
Amazing.
produce. I didn't produce Matchbox 20. I
Oh,
engineered
you
on that
engineered on
stuff.
that. You engineered on
Yeah,
that.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yep,
I mean,
yep.
you've worked with those bands on a very high level,
Oh yeah, oh
and
yeah,
you mixed
oh
our
yeah.
record, which was mastered by the God Ted Jensen at Sterling Sound in New York. But I mean,
Boy, he did a great job.
you've mixed tracks from Kanye West to Creedence Clearwater to Soundgarden, Nirvana. I mean, you've got quite a resume there. Over 20 hit records.
Yeah, a lot of. It's been a good career, man. It's been a good career, but I feel like I'm just getting started. I
You
think.
just warmed up.
Yeah, I do think I feel like I'm just getting started because it's like it's been crazy, and man, it was awesome doing your record, man, and stuff. And it's so weird how we do records now, but it was good, great. You came in, and I tell everybody about you coming to my house to do vocals. Well, and I hate to say this, but the other night we were down at Soundstage, and this is no knock towards Soundstage. I love working there, Black River. Uh, it's $1,000 a day room, and and the little girl I was producing, like we did some scratch vocals here, and she gets in there, and we're doing vocals and everything, and then I freaking, hey man, you didn't sing it like that on the demos. Just check it out. And then the vocal tone was better that I got here at home. But I mean, I got Neves, API, SSL stuff. I got all the best mic pre's you can buy. It's stuff. So it's kind of, it just, I mean, man, the vibe is, you're so much more comfortable. And I thought you were really comfortable singing here, and, instead of going to $1,000 a day studio and let's freaking rip it all out in one day and wear you out. And, you did a great job, man.
Thank
You
you,
did a
man.
great job.
It was
The
an
record
honor
sounds
and a
cool.
pleasure working with you. And actually, I'm used to that because I do have a recording studio in my house. Jason has one too. And the first record, we did in a studio. But everything after that, I pretty much did all my vocals in my home studio with Jason producing. So coming into your home studio was just natural for me because that's what I was used to. And I was much more relaxed as opposed to being in a booth of $1,000 a day studio. And we just sat there and smoked cigarettes and had Cocaine Bear on the screen above your studio computer
That's
while
right.
I was singing. And, we had an awful lot of fun. And, it was a pleasure
forgot
working
about
with
that.
you. And it was so easy to work with you. I mean, I didn't know what to expect because I'd never worked with anyone except for Jason, and it'd been about almost 14 years. So it was a real change for me, and I miss it. I wish we were still doing it right now. It was so much fun. I can't wait to do some more with you in the future.
Yeah, I'm ready to do some more songs. It's freaking fun record, man. Really fun. Oh, Case just called me. He knows I'm on with you right now. He's just Case. You know how he is. He's just, I love him, man. He's just Case.
Well, you
He's coming
gotta
over.
love
We're working on a couple different things together right now, and just got through with Julia Byers, which that's going to be. She's a country. She's 18, so Steve, she's just starting out now, but she's going to do really well. You know, I looked there the other day. I'm like, you're gonna get a record deal. I mean, you're 18 years old. You're this badass. You're gonna get a deal. You just gotta stick with the program. You know, um, that was met her through Brett Manning.
Yeah.
The vocal coach. Yeah, but she's awesome, man. But yeah, me and Casey have been working on that, and we're about to start working on this other guy. You know, it's one thing after another. Today has been crazy though. It's been phone call to phone call, and I'm still not halfway through my phone call list. So I
Yeah,
mean, I'm
join the
serious.
club, brother. Join the club. You know.
Jeez. Yeah, because man, some phone calls just take a lot longer, than others. Um, and it's like weird when oh, I ain't gonna say anything. It's just weird because some people they get really nervous, when you're about to start tracking, especially the record company and
Yeah.
stuff. They get they start calling you, telling you their thing and what they'd like it to sound like. And man, I'm thinking we got all these great players. Like I literally have like the greatest musicians in the world, hands down. Miles McPherson's playing drums. Got Eli Beard playing bass. Paul Allen playing guitar, which he played on your record.
Well, I'm telling you, that solo he did on Across the Line,
He's
it's
badass, man.
unbelievable. Yeah. I mean, Paul Allen, Ten Finger Orchestra. He's a
Yeah,
tremendous guitar player, and thanks to you, we had a lot of top guest musicians on our record. So she's lucky to have you working with her and having you bringing all these great musicians to the table. And at 18,
he had 18.
you can have a
I
very,
mean,
very, very long career. I remember being nervous in the beginning, but once you reach the no fear, once you get the confidence and you reach the no fear level, everything becomes a lot easier. I think you could tell when I came in to work with you that I was pretty relaxed, and I was just doing what I was
yeah.
used to doing.
Well, everybody, people used to say to me, and man, this is truth. People will be like, man, you gotta treat producing more like a business. It's like, no, it's personal. You gotta get to know people. You gotta, because if you do see my credit list, it is pretty freaking intimidating when you go, oh, he's recorded, you know, some of the greatest singers in history, and I have. Uh, but man, it doesn't. Everybody puts their pants on the same way, and it's the truth. I mean, it's the truth, and it's like, and the singers that you think were freaking amazing singers, I'm not going to say any names, but it wasn't all that great of singers. I mean, seriously,
Yeah,
really
well, with auto tune, you never know what you're going to get.
really had a tough time, and some of them was. It was, yeah, some of them was a pre-auto tune, and that's just punching, and oh man, just freaking, oh, gosh, just like, man, he's got to get it, man. You're flat, you're sharp, you're flat, you're sharp, you're flat, you're sharp, and it's just like, some days feel like it's never going to end, and then by the time the end of the day is, singer's hoarse, and so auto tune, everybody goes, man, I can't stand auto tune, man. You're an idiot if you say that, man. It's a freaking great tool. It's a great tool, and it's something that. Because you can get a great vocal take, and a great vocal take to me is more emotion than it is, being in tune.
Absolutely.
And it's like if you got that emotion on tape and you can fix the, tweak the pitch. It's like you don't lose all that. It's like when I was younger, man, freaking recording some of those vocals, like on Elena Draper and some of those gospel records where those guys were just on point every time. I mean. The gospel singers that I've recorded are freaking Yolanda Adams and people like that. I mean, that's what, there wasn't no tune in those vocals, I mean, because those were just so in pitch, sometimes annoyingly in pitch, which is funny because I heard a song earlier, man, that I didn't realize that Hardy redid that Puddle of Mud song. Blurry, you remember that song?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And man, his vocals are tuned to shit. You gotta check it out when we get off here, man. It doesn't get him. I think he's an incredible artist. I'm just saying, man, you can hear the auto tune on that one big time.
Yeah, you can. I mean, it gives you the appreciation. It's a different world today. The '90s came, everything went digital, and you go back and you think about artists like Robert Plant, Led Zeppelin,
Yeah.
where tuning, didn't even exist. And,
Yeah.
and you think about what kind of great singers like Robert Plant, that their pitch and tune is just perfect. I'm pretty lucky because, obviously do use some tuning with my records, and we did with what we just did together. Although live, I can replicate it. So, if you can replicate it live, then I think you're in good shape. But the problem is a lot of people who really aren't good singers can go in a studio with the right producer. They can record stuff that sounds pretty good. And if you don't have a crew back there with all the gear to replicate that while you're singing,
Yeah, it could be
I mean, great recorded bands,
tough.
and they just sound terrible live. And I think you got to be better live than you are recorded. And I really enjoy performing live. So the job of a producer is definitely interesting, and I'm glad to let you continue talking about it, because a lot of people, they see interviews with actors and rock stars, and people don't really get to hear from producers like yourself, and understand that process and how you think and how you feel and how you go about it.
Man, you know what's crazy is every record is so different. I mean that's not a man. That's the truth. Like this record I'm doing starting on Wednesday is it's a country record, but country is the new rock and roll. So I'm hoping I get a little bit more popular at doing it. But it's it's so, because this one has live drums and everything, but there's going to be a lot of programming to it as well, and stuff, and synths and stuff like that. Whereas on next Sunday I've started another record and it's all analog. Hey, there's no gonna be no Pro Tools. Ain't gonna be no.
You're not gonna run it through the dig after you do it analog?
Yeah, we're gonna record the analog and then we're gonna put it in Pro Tools. But usually, when I do a record like that, I like to fix, on the fly, because you want to keep that feel. There's no going to the grid, thing, and which is cool. It's also it's the Low Down Drifters. You've heard them. But those guys are they're Texas dirt. They're not really country. They're freaking. They're rock and roll.
Well, country. You got the real country, and then I think over the last 10 years you've had some pretty big crossover from country to rock artists.
Yeah.
And so that should be interesting for you to dive into that. I think our first couple records we did record analog and then run into Pro Tools, and I love that sound. I really do. I think the sound you got for us on the new record, Sip the Cup, is amazing. And actually, the music video, and I'll send you the link after we're done talking.
Oh, dude, I can't wait to see it, man. I can't wait to see it.
I'm going to send you a link that you can watch it. That releases officially on the 15th in 3 days. And then the single...
Oh, wow, I didn't know it was that fast. That's
cool.
Cool.
Yeah, it's releasing on the 15th. The label sent... The director was in Vegas. He drove from LA to Vegas, and we shot my parts here in my rehearsal studio, and then he added a bunch of artificial intelligence to it. It actually came out pretty cool.
Oh, really? That's awesome, man.
And then the next day, on the 16th, the single "Sip the Cup" goes to streaming, and then the radio promotion begins with Eric Baker on February 20th. So we're going to find out pretty soon, how well that does. I'm looking
I think we'll dominate rock radio. I do. I'm not trying to brag. I'm just saying I think we'll dominate.
Well, Sip the Cup's a pretty heavy track. They're going to release Cross the Line as the second single.
Right.
When we started recording, we
It
thought,
was no song.
we thought Cross the Line was the first single. And the last thing I thought about Sip the Cup is it would be going to radio, and it ended up being the top track. So you just never know what's going to happen. You called
that
it though.
came
You
along
said
with
that's
it.
the first single, and boy, the
Yeah.
record company like that's the single. So.
Yeah, that's a killer song, man. Killer song.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how well it does, and can't wait to get on tour and play some of those songs we recorded live. I think I can't wait to start rehearsing those with the band. I would say probably late April, May. We'll be out there on the road doing it.
I tell you who would be a good band for you to freaking go out with, man. I know it sounds funny, but Three Dog Night.
Well,
Serious.
their song "One" was a hit when I went to my junior high school prom, and
Man.
we can play with anybody from the last 50 years because our sound is so unique. We tend to fit in kind of real well with the 90s bands, but if you could be any assistance in making that happen, I'd love to go out with those guys.
Yeah, because they draw freaking huge. I don't know. The crowd may be a little too old for you, though. I'm serious like that.
I think management would probably say that
I don't know.
might be too old. No, Greta Van Fleet wanted us to go out with them last year, and management felt that crowd was too young. I don't think.
Really?
I don't. And I didn't really agree with that because, when the band really started, MySpace had pretty much died, and Facebook was the way to go. That's why we have like 340,000 followers there. I guess now it's more Instagram. But
Right.
you could do promotions on your music, and then you could get the stats back and see how many men are listening, how many women, what countries, cities you're getting the most action from, and age groups. And I was astonished to see that our top age group was 13 to 18, followed closely by 18 to 24. But sometimes it's just hard to argue with management, your record company, and they want to do what they want to do. But I think we would have been great opening for Greta Van Fleet, and maybe that opportunity will come again.
I do too. The reason why I said Three Dog Nights, I went to see them a couple weekends ago, and they were incredible. I'm talking, man, they were incredible.
Well, they got great harmonies. We have those good harmonies too, so I think that would kind of work. I think we're looking to tour with, like an Alice in Chains, Bush, Breaking Benjamin.
Okay.
The Cult, right? Bush, Alice in Chains, right? Breaking Benjamin, the Cult, potentially, I think we'd be great touring with, Stone Temple Pilots, or
I do too.
yeah, even Pearl Jam. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. I mean, for some reason, people think we kind of like have a 70s and a 90s feel, but the reality is that we've created a new genre, and thanks to Jason's music writing and your production on this new record, I think it sticks out like a sore thumb. I mean, it sounds like something you may have heard before, and then you quickly realize you haven't. And I think we've created a new genre, and I think you've been a great help in like cementing that.
Well, in the old days, I say in the old days because I don't know what Interscope signs anymore, but Interscope be perfect label back in the old days, because you know how every single band on Interscope had their own thing, like Tom Petty, But then you had Interscope bands that were like Nine Inch Nails and you had Fleetwood Mac on there, you had The Boss on there, you had all these freaking, but none of them sounded nothing like Jimmy Iovine was a genius because every artist was a different tone, and I think that's where your band comes in. It's like it's a breath of fresh air. It's like, oh, something doesn't sound like everybody else, but it rocks my balls. I mean, that's the whole thing, but that's what people want to hear, man, because, man, I know one thing, some of the modern rock out today is like you can't tell the difference what band is what because they all sound exactly the same. I mean, and, I love stuff, man, where it's like, no, man, I don't want to go and open a Cracker Jack box every time I turn on something, because they go, oh, what the hell, But, man, I remember, like, the first time I heard the Hysteria record by Def Leppard, I swear to God, I was in the studio at the time. I was really young. I stepped out, I was playing bass, and stepped out in the lobby and freaking watched the first song, the first video, because you remember how they had the MTV premiere, Def Leppard's new song, skin on skin, let the love begin. Well, anyway, I remember standing there, and I was like, I swear to God, I said, man, that's music. That's where we're going now. And look how big that thing was, but everybody, you know what I mean? It was so different, and I think that's where we're at, It's like, I want people to be like, what the hell? And then, you know what I mean? Because if you get what the hell at the very beginning, man, it always does really good. Because, anything that sounds just like everything else, we try to copy everybody else. And we have big guitars, big kick drums, big snare drums, and big ass vocals. Everything's big. Ain't nothing small about your record. That's ridiculous.
Well, you know what? I mean, I was inspired by great songwriters, like John Lennon, Bob Dylan, Jim Morrison.
Yeah.
And the one thing I've noticed, over the last couple decades is just lame lyrics. And they've brainwashed the listeners, to where, for the most part, they're just listening to the music and they don't really even have a clue what they're singing about. A lot of these harder rock bands, and we're not a metal band, but we are a hard rock, melodic rock band. And,
well, you got the whiners. Me, you've talked about this. You got the whiners, and you're not a whiner. You know what I mean? It's like whining. Me. We were talking about that in case we were listening to something. I forgot what it was. I don't want to rag on anybody's thing. I mean, that's their deal. That's their message. That's fine. I'm going to say we were listening to a particular band, and it's not, if you want to hear whining rock, and you know what, 90% of the stuff that's out right now is a bunch of suburbia white kids who ain't never had a hard day in their life, and they're talking about how bad their life is. Are you kidding me? Like, you can tell it's what makes it not real, and I think kids freaking know that, and they just pass it on, They just pass by it. They don't, it doesn't catch on like on the masses, like on a mass scale like it used to,
No.
When you had freaking STP, singing about doing drugs and shit, I mean, because that's the lifestyle they live. And I'm not saying you gotta be an artist to be a great artist, you gotta do drugs. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying what you're going to sing about, what you need to be living, and that's your record. You sing about what you're living. You're not. You've been through a lot. I mean, you talked about this, and I have too. And it's like you have respect for people who freaking really have lived that life, man. And these kids that don't live that life and try to sing about that life. It's like, man, it's kind of like being a freaking rapper and singing about the hood and not being from the fucking hood.
No, it doesn't work. I mean, they know when it's real or not. And
I know
if they sense for a split second that your recorded material, your live performance is just too choreographed, or what you recorded, it's, if they feel for a split second it's not real, you are rejected immediately.
Big time. And, but I think that's what we're dealing with almost an entire genre right now with rock, and that's what's bad, I mean, and it's a breath of fresh air. I think there's going to be a lot of bands come out like yours after this. I do. That's not country, but they're really rock, You know what I mean? They're not singing about the beer and the freaking big ass truck and all that shit. They're singing about real shit. Did you ever hear that band Big Ass Truck? They
Mm,
were fucking good, man. They were fucking good. That was back in the late
no, I
'90s.
mean, but the drive-by truckers, I just absolutely love. I mean,
Oh yeah, I do
that
too. I
band
do too. I
is,
like you guys.
forget who's the lead singers. Jason, he's got a big name. I forget his name. But they wrote some great songs, especially about like get on the plane. About
But
the Leonard Skinner incident. Um, I hope we open. I hope we're still a new band on the rise, even though we've been around for 14 years. Because we just got our first record deal in 2021. Now we got a new one, and I think this is the best record we've ever put out. So it's going to be interesting to see how things go. I hope that we become successful enough where I can do it for years to come, and open the door to people at least writing some responsible lyrics with a message. Have great melodies, but be talking about something that isn't so stupid. Really.
yeah, it's like talking about how hard your life is. When you know me, that hard life, that's fine. Talk, you know what I mean? Sing about it. But these kids trying to sing about it, that Anyway, you've heard my soapbox about it, man. I'll go fuck off about it.
Well,
I'll
you've
go
worked with
off
some
about it.
great acts, and
Thank you.
so when you've either produced or engineered or mixed all these, and I've looked at your resume. It is quite impressive. Yeah, yeah, I mean, you have the ability to really see what's actual real quality and what isn't. It's not hard for you to figure that
Man, I think, and Richard Williams was telling me this the other day. He goes, the bad part about your resume is it doesn't tell all who you really worked with as an engineer, engineering for the people I engineered for, the amazing men that I had the opportunity and the freaking honor of freaking working for, like T-Bone Burnett, Don Was, Peter Collins. I mean, Peter Collins, I think he's still probably one of the top singles producers of all time. Which I need to give him a call. I haven't talked to him in a couple weeks. Still take touch with him. I worked with him for a while. I mean, I've stayed with Peter 2 or 3 years, and I tell you what, 2 or 3 years, a long 2 or 3 years with Peter Collins. I mean, man, one record after another. Great records, I mean, killer records. He's just an amazing man, an amazing producer. He was the reason why I wanted to start producing. I heard of Operation Mindcrime, and I gotta say, Operation Mindcrime by Queensryche got me where I wanted to be a producer, because I wanted to make kids feel like I felt, to get away from the world, And but then when I heard Hold Your Fire, I was like, oh, these guys are the man. But then he produced Bon Jovi and Jewel. I mean, he's really, really, really done and had an amazing career. And he's not producing anymore. But anyway, there's some of the men I got to produce. I got to work as a second engineer under Greg Archilla, which is me and him did the Matchbox 20 stuff together. Got to be his second engineer, right hand man on that, and a bunch of stuff, roll trucks, and David Z worked on Kenny Wayne Shepherd, freaking Johnny Lang. Got to work with some amazing men that really helped me freaking learn about arrangement, about feel, about and the thing about it is you can engineer for those guys and stuff, but if you really pay attention to what they're all about, a piece of them is with me. When I say that, because I carried a little piece of all of them with me. The bigger part of me, I guess, from Peter Collins, and and I think T-Bone Burnett. Like I remember when I got the call to work for him, I literally dropped the phone. I couldn't move. Man, I was so nervous. And man, I got in there working with him, and within 10 minutes, I felt like I'd been working for him my entire life, and everything was fine. And I went, oh, this is why he's such an amazing producer. It's not everything is about being comfortable. I know that, as a singer, sometimes, as well as I do, feeling uncomfortable when you sing is sometimes not a bad thing to be when you're doing a record. Now live, that's bad when you're live. But I'm saying, an uncomfortable spot to get certain takes and stuff like that, it's not bad sometimes. But I'm saying who you're around and the vibe, it's something because I have a young man that's working with me as a second engineer, coming Wednesday, and I met him. We had a little technical difficulties the other day. I can tell. Well, I had a weird setup. You know me very well. You know me.
Right.
I brought my own Pro Tools rig. I'm looking into the big SSL, and he didn't know how to handle that. But his vibe was so good. It's like I didn't mind going over to the patch bay and rerouting stuff and doing what I needed to do to get the session going because he had such a good vibe, and I could tell he's eager to learn. And he'll make a hell of a second engineer. I'm not worried about, but that's the kind of kid, though, I want working for me instead of somebody who knows everything. I was one of those kids that, man, I didn't know everything. And every single person I want to learn from. And that's the thing. Heck, I learned on your records. I've been doing this for 33 years, and I learned a lot, on your record. But I learned every record, especially about the artist and, like, man, how, to hear their vision because everybody's so different. It's like some people, though, as well as I do, don't have a vision, and that's tough to deal with right there. You had a clear vision where you wanted to go, and I had a vision of where I wanted to take it, and then we met halfway and made a great record. And
Yeah,
that to me is
we really did. And I mean, I'm a pretty humble guy, so I'm not used to getting compliments. And, it's nice to hear good things, especially from super pros like you. But it felt like I'd known you forever. We just, working
Yep.
with Jason has always been very easy, but working with you is no different. It was like we worked together for years. It was very natural.
Wow.
I really enjoyed it.
As much as we talked on the phone, I was still a little nervous because you look so young for your age, and man, and I'm not kidding either. There's a lot of rumors about people who are like you, and you're just naturally took care of yourself. You just aged really well, whereas you hear about these people that freaking do crazy things to stay young. You know what I mean? And so you don't know, and then they have you come and know hear about your faith and everything too, and what kind of person you are. Maybe go, wow, completely different than what I thought. Because that's not something you really get a lot of discussion about. With your artist. I say fuck you every 5 minutes, but I'm a spiritual guy. It's like I really am. But that about me. But it's kind of hard when you first meet people you don't know. I come off as like Richard Williams is like one of my best friends. Mr. Richard is definitely one of my best friends. It's like, man, before I met you, I thought you were completely different than what you are. And that's the way people are. You got to kind of, the people that you really love hanging with and you love recording with, you hold those people close, and everybody else you kind of just get the fuck away from.
I didn't know what to expect either, bro. I mean, it's like, I went over there with a smile on my face, and I'm like, and you're like, okay, let's rock, and I'm like, let's see how it goes. It was a lot of fun. It was very comfortable. I didn't feel uncomfortable for 1 second. It was a lot of fun.
It's funny because Andy Paul's been from End to Clear, a singer from End to Clear. We've been recording some tracks. Actually, just me and him and Case been doing something for fun once a weekend. It's been really, really good for me. Just doing something for fun, for the art of it. I mean, and everything's fun. You know what I'm saying? But like Andy, he's been helping me, assisting me. He goes, man, what you need me to do is call people and warn them about you before they meet you. I'm like, what do you mean?
What? What the heck? No, I don't agree with that. I don't really agree with that. Yeah, I mean, we talked on the phone, and when I met you, it was like I'd known you my whole life. It just, it was very easy, and you made things very easy. And I brought my A game, and I sang my ass off because I knew who was producing it, and I wanted to make sure that I performed at a high level for you.
Well, I don't think it's the work part that he needs to warn people. I think it's the all the alien and Bigfoot talk. I think that's what he's talking about. And you know me, I've been around rock bands so much that what's cool to talk about sometimes isn't cool to talk about, because you're just used to a lifestyle and being around certain people, man, that are freaking nuts like you are. You become nuts, because it's like I tell my kids, I got freaking 7 kids, and freaking I tell all of them, man, you lock somebody in a room for 30 years trying to make shit sound good. I mean, what are you going to come out with? Come on, man. You're going to think about Bigfoot and aliens because you have a lot of time to think about it.
Yeah, and the Matrix, and we talked a lot about a lot of crazy stuff. I remember when I was a little kid, 7, 8, 9 years old, and I was thinking to myself, what is this all about? Why am I even here? And today, with modern technology, and everybody's got a high quality phone with a camera and a video camera and all of that, doorbell cameras, security cameras, and they've released Navy pilot footage, and like UFOs are real, man. They're here, and who knows what the damn truth is, but I think Bigfoot really does exist. There's enough proof of it. There's a lot of cryptids, and I think there's a lot of different dimensions, and sometimes they overlap, and they've got some shows on TV like Paranormal.
Well, I gotta tell you,
I mean, there's some crazy cryptids they've caught on film. I mean, I've seen some crazy shit.
I gotta tell you my new thing, about us living in a simulation. Okay. I've been kind of getting into, I'm saying his name right, Dostoevsky, I hope I'm saying that right.
Dostoevsky is close enough.
Okay, so how everything that you do is, you're responsible for everything you do, and you're responsible for everything else in the world, and this is going to be funny, but you gotta let me kind of get through it. Like, there was a guy that went crazy here and killed his family and killed himself and everything. And I told my wife, I said that was our fault. That was my fault. What are you talking? That's not your fault. Well, here we go now. Now hang on here. So if you drive down the road and you're having a bad day, you reach out the window and you flip somebody off, call them all kinds of shit, and then they go to the next person, and they're an asshole to the next person, and that person's an asshole to the next person, and that's asshole. See what I'm saying? It's like a trickle down effect. And, it's a pebble in the whole thing. But what I told my wife is like, but see, that's like that's like giving me some tater, Just think about it. You're making the world a better place. Because I'm going to be in a good mood. That's going to make the next person be in a good mood. That's going to make the next person be good. So you're saving the world by giving me more ass. And I think that's a great way to get laid more.
Yeah, just staying positive and leading by example.
Yes.
Is the best thing. There's so much negativity in this world. And I think one of the reasons some of these younger guys, projects, me, and how hard my life is. I mean, teenagers are really struggling. I knew when I grew up, we didn't have internet or pages or cell phones. But kids are cruel. We had a lot of bullies I had to deal with growing up. But today, you got social media, and you've got young kids, they can just, and with AI too, and Photoshop, they just blast all this shit about some girl or some guy in school, and it's all over the friggin' world. And I don't know how I would deal with that, if I was 12 or 13 or 14, 15 years old today. It's, I think, a very irresponsible world that needs to be needs to be fixed, and I'm trying to do that with my music. You know,
Well,
people
I was
don't
about to say,
people don't like people that preach. You know, if you go to church, you go there to hear the preacher preach. But people that preach usually are rejected. Although if you lead by example and you know, I just leave most of my opinions to my songs, right? Like War Machine on the record we just did. I usually take a shot at government. I'm totally anti-war. And every record I usually take a shot at government. You know, this was a 6-song EP, so sometimes there could be 2. But, you know, I think War Machine's really relevant because look at what's just going on in the world today. And war is the biggest money maker there is for the Lizard Kings, that's for sure.
yeah, and the people making decisions if we're going to be in war or not, are the ones that are invested in the freaking, the industrial complex that's freaking, that feeds that and that makes them richer. So they just war, and I mean, I won't get on my thing, but I think it's sad that we don't try to governor that, because I mean, well, hell yeah, people in Congress and the Senate, they want to go to war because they're all invested in the military-industrial complex, and they got investment, they got money there. So if we're going to war, they're making money.
Well, that's actually in my song War Machine. The industrial complex is starving for grease. They never say pretty please, right?
Yeah.
I mean, those are some complex lyrics. But, the thing about good lyrics is have people interpret it in many different ways. But, you're really right. I just hope this world comes back to balance.
Well, the positive thing about the media, the not the mainstream media, but the independent media, like what we're doing now, is people can find out about stuff like that. There's not much we can really do about it, but they know it's there, and hopefully it won't cause a revolution to where there's people that get killed, but probably one day it will, I'm sure. And it's like, because it's sickening, and it's just the way it is. And my thoughts on all that stuff over there, and because I don't know what I got freaking kicked off YouTube for a while because of my thoughts.
Well, this platform is where you should be doing your show because, Discord and then tied to kick.com and all of that. And there's no censorship. It's just a matter of moving your followers and getting everybody, to follow you on Kick and come in here. But I'm testing this platform out, I have a lot to say besides my songs, and the people on my show, like you, have a lot to say. And so I'm starting this new streaming venture. This is our historical first show, and I'm so honored that you're the first guest to be on it. To have a platform here where we can talk about some real things and have people, have people hear points of views. Because you take Mick Jagger, for example. Nobody really understands how he thinks and what his views are. He doesn't really talk about it that much. And then you have a great producer like you, and people know your work, and whether they're intimidated or not by you, whatever the case may be. But to have, we're all real people. I'm not just that guy on stage, and you're not just that guy, that's sitting there in the recording studio producing or engineering or mixing. We're all human beings, and we have something to say, and there's something to learn. So I'm pretty excited about having you on today, and having
thank you, man.
Having my followers and people get to hear about your career and people, great names that you've worked with, and then also see your humanity and understand. I think a lot of fans just don't understand that performers and producers and songwriters, there's a whole bunch of parts to rock and roll.
Oh, yes, Hey,
You know,
guess who just walked
there's
in?
a lot
I gotta
more
get
to it. I think the fans
I
don't
gotta
really understand that, and hopefully today they're getting a better view of that thanks to you.
Hey, look who just walked in here.
Hello.
Hey, it's Case. What's up, dude?
What's up, brother?
Great work
Hope
on the record.
up,
Nice
man.
to see your face.
Man, good to see you, man.
Yeah, Case played some great guitar on the record. We
Man,
had a lot of musicians. You know, Jason, even though he was recovering from cancer, you know, we did get some of his parts on there. Paul Allen, Case.
yeah, man, we had a great time, man. Your record's going to be great, man. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was fun.
I'm just absolutely thrilled with it. I've been listening to it over and over again. You know, well, at first it was just because I'm so blown away at what Malcolm did with it, with all of you guys, great players.
They call him Magic Malcolm for a reason.
Yeah, but you know the way things are set up, you know, Jason's still recovering from cancer. I don't know if he's going to be available for the next tour. He will be at some point. And our band is scattered. You know, my bass player's in LA. My
All
guitar
over.
players
Guys all
from
over.
Rio, you know, the fill-in guitar players from Rio de Janeiro. My drummer's in Paris, France. And so when we do get ready to tour, you know, we're going to have 3 or 4 days in my home rehearsal studio. I'm used to rehearsing for a tour for a couple months. I'm going to have 3 or 4 days. So I'm listening to everything over and over and over again. And I'll be singing it, you know, through my phone plugged into the PA. Because I'm going to have everything, you know, all those new lyrics memorized and be ready to rock. And be tight with the band in a matter of days as opposed to months. So
I've got some homework. It sounds like.
Making it, you know, muscle memory kind of thing. I keep getting challenged. You know, I never took a stage without Jason. When we toured last summer with Buck Cherry, it was the first time I ever stepped on stage without him. When I went to Malcolm, it was the first time I've worked with a producer outside of Jason. And now I'm going to have to I'm going to have to get all these songs down and be ready to rock. And with 3 or 4 days of rehearsal, which is not even close to what I've had before, it's been months. And, you know, God and Christ are pushing me. But,
hey, man, it's all part of the process, right?
I believe everything happens the way God plans it. We may not always like it. Things happen the way they're supposed to be, but it's pushed me to just be a better artist because, you know, I'm being pushed to do things I've never done before, be comfortable with it, and, you know, rise up to a level,
well, you know
that I've never done before. I don't think the Rolling Stones would ever do a show without rehearsing for 3 or 4 days. I know Mick Jagger turned down doing a Super Bowl deal because he didn't think the band had enough time to be ready for it. So I don't compare myself to him, but I have no choice.
Well, I think if you wake up, you're winning, buddy. That's half the battle, right? You know?
Yeah, well, every day on this side of the ground is better than the other side, I guess. So who knows? There might be better. We'll find out one day. I'm not ready for that yet. Yeah, I got a lot more to do. Hey, I just turned 69. I look 45. And,
that's rock and roll, man.
You know, Mick Jagger just turned 80, and they're about to do that tour, you know, behind their new record. And
well, it sounds to me like that's the opening gig you really want.
Well,
the Stones opener.
Mick Jagger to open for the Rolling Stones or for Aerosmith would be bucket list. Oh, I would love to tour with those guys. I love that band.
They're a great band.
Yeah,
great band. Yeah, Ed and them guys, man, they're special. Yeah, and it shows. I mean, just the longevity of that band alone. Not to mention how many great records they got.
Yeah, it was awesome working with those guys. They're fun. Some of them are funnest members in the studio. I think that's probably my funnest.
Football with Collective Soul.
Funnest record, man. Drug dealers all the time. Back. I'm not kidding, man. Wearing a cowboy hat and boots, and we're out there freaking hitting each other, man. It's freaking
full tackle.
Full tackle. I'm not kidding you. I mean, crazy stuff. I remember going home, man. I was married to this freaking man. Never mind. I was married, good looking woman, but she wasn't very nice. But I would come in and be like walking real hard. So, what's wrong with you? Oh, hard day at work. That's from us playing football freaking day.
Yeah, you come in dirty with mud stains on your knees.
Oh my god, freaking stupid.
You're like, no, I think some of those female rock stars, you know, especially like Blondie, you know.
Oh yeah.
They really made some statements. I mean, you know, I can remember just going to the whiskey in the 80s and there's Blondie at the top of her game, putting her foot up on the monitor, wearing no panties with everything. After the world.
Are you trying to say you'd like to play some tackle football with her?
Maybe back then. not now.
I remember when Blondie was around. You know what I used to say? I'd stick my head up her ass and wear her around like a hat. I strut that.
You know, but I mean, like Pat Benatar and you know, I mean, and Joan Jett and you know.
It was the attitude for me, bro.
And you know, look at what Sarah McLachlan did, pulling off the Lilith Fair tour. And I remember going to the Lilith Fair tour back like in the early '90s, and I think the show I saw, Sinead O'Connor was actually performing, and I had mixed feelings about her because you know I think we should stick to what we're doing and not preach and. Leave that to other people. You know, although she was absolutely amazing, and
she really was.
And there was another gal.
That's the old vibrato. She got that vibrato. That's just. I mean, it's.
She was one of the best live performances I've ever seen, and so was Erykah Badu. She was just.
Oh, Erykah Badu's yes.
She was on it. You know. What's that girl? That lady's name? Meredith. Is it Meredith Brooks? Is that what her name?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know. I mean, damn. You know. Yeah. Sarah McLachlan proved that women rock stars can draw as well as men, and really made a statement with that. I think we should see some more of that. I think since Sarah's gone kind of into the background. We've seen a real drop in that, and you know it's kind of gone back to the boy bands, much more than the girl bands.
It has, I would say so. But I mean, not that girls don't exist in rock in every genre. It's just it doesn't seem like collectively it's as grouped as it was in the '90s.
Well, you know, I mean, no, you know. Evanescence, I think, is still a great band. She's still bringing it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's a new all-girl band that's on my former label, Pavement, called Plush.
I've been hearing of them. They've been opening a lot for big bands, Pantera.
You know, they got signed by Guns N' Roses' agent, so you know they get a lot of great opportunities. The lead singer's real super talented. The players are still like Greta Van Fleet, you know. They're not anywhere near as good as they need to be, but will be at some point. But the lead singers and the lead singer for Plush and Greta Van Fleet are really carrying it. There's a lot of bands out there whose players are far superior. That, you know, it's like what Malcolm and I were talking about earlier. It's about being real.
It is. It's about I mean, the ones that are real, you can tell it. You don't have to, you don't have to hide. You know,
it's true. And so, okay, so you're going to go ahead and put a 20-something girl band on before Breaking Benjamin and Bush and Alice in Chains. Probably a slot we would have been 1,000 times better for. But you got a bunch of good-looking 20-something girls, so you go ahead and do that. And you've got an agent who's the agent for Guns N' Roses who can pull those kind of strings for you. So it's not always about how good you are. It's also about who you know.
There's a lot of plays in business. I mean, that's why they call it music business. Otherwise, it'd just be music.
That's right.
you know. And
The business part sucks.
the business part's tough sometimes, you know. It just depends. But like you said, it's all about the people you surround yourself with, man. You know, if you believe in your circle, you're gonna pull off and do whatever you can do to help that circle.
You just
Keep
never
it.
know what's going to happen, man. I mean, I see bands that are very successful, and other bands who I think are far superior that just don't get there. I mean, for example, if you go back to the 70s, like Mott the Hoople, they should have been 100 times bigger than they were.
I'm on a lot of things, guys.
You know, and I mean, it's just like, you know, you look at, you know, Taylor Swift and
Yeah,
then compare her to like Lady Gaga and, you know, Perry
yeah,
and, you know, that lady. And I mean, Lady Gaga can't even draw the kind of numbers that Taylor Swift does. So, you know, do I think Taylor Swift's a great performer? Well, clearly she is. Although I don't think she's in the category of Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga is just amazing. You know, I mean,
not as ability as performer, but as far as entertainer, I guarantee she can. I mean, entertain with the best of them. She wouldn't be in her position.
Well, she absolutely does. And I'm not saying that I'm not a fan. I mean, to be a fan of somebody who buys your records and listens to you all the time, but you know, there's a lot of bands that I'll go see live and really enjoy them. I'll never buy their record, but maybe if I hear them on the radio, I'm going to change the station. But live, you know, they really do a great thing. And you know, she was smart. She bypassed Hollywood. She filmed her own movie about the whole tour, and I've seen parts of it. And yeah, you know, you've got to give credit where credit's due. But my point is not so much that. My point is you just never know who's going to be big and who's not. You know, you just never know.
No, for sure.
It's up to the fans, really.
It really is. And not only that, there's more to it than just sales and fans. I mean, there's a lot of plays involved to make an artist that successful. When you're talking about Stones and Taylor Swift and somebody, I mean, that's a strong feat to accomplish because, like you said, I mean, there's great artists and a lot of people get great opportunities, but what separates them is being able to go, maybe not win at the time, but get back up and go until you win, you know.
Yeah, for everybody, I got to introduce you. This is Case.
Hey, guys.
Tremendous guitar player.
Man, thank you so much, brother. I enjoyed.
He works on an awful lot. He worked on our record. You know, we had 3 guitar players on our record. We had Case and Jason Womack and Paul Allen. And he works with Malcolm on a lot of records. And I just want to make sure that people watching the show now and later know, you know, who you are. Case is a big-time professional, and he's recorded on a lot of great records, including our new record. So I want everybody to know who's talking of a quite knowledgeable person. They might be going like, who really is this guy? We didn't introduce you properly.
Well, thank you guys, man. It's been an honor. It's always an honor to work with Malcolm, man. You yourself, Steve, man. You're a great artist, and I think your record's going to do great things, man. I think it's going to do really great things.
Well, we'll see what God planned. You know, it's like there's a word called acceptance. I think it's a word that humanity has a hard time with.
For sure.
A lot of people try to control things you can't control. That's where turning it over to God or a higher power comes from. And
for sure, and I think that's something anybody who's human can relate to that.
We'll just have to see what God planned. You know, I think I'm a responsible songwriter. I know from years of touring that people like us because I see what's happening out there in the audience when we're performing. Although we haven't really been on radio until the last couple of years, and so we haven't had a chance to really have our music out to the masses because radio still drives everything, really does. And
It
so I
does. I
think,
mean, there's definitely more opportunities now with social media and online, but
mhm.
radio is still a big player. I mean, there's still a lot of people that's their outlet, you
Yep.
know?
I think this new record and this new record deal is really just the beginning. I think it's like, even though we've been around for 14 years trying to get to where we're going, I think it's really all beginning right now, actually. And I'm
But
excited
that's
to
all
see what
part of the
happens.
story.
You know,
That's part of
whatever
the
God
story too.
planned is fine with me, man. Whether we blow up and end up headlining next year, or whether I'm forced to retire and never do it again, uh,
Nope,
the
won't
way to
happen.
live life without fear is to have undying faith. And I
That's
have
it, man.
undying faith. And whatever God planned will be fine with me. I accept that. And I've already accomplished a lot of my dreams. I mean, you know, I've toured with Slash. He's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I've toured with Alice Cooper. He's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Michael Schenker, Richie Ramone, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the list goes on. I mean,
I
just
played the
list is
Super
great.
Bowl Village show. I got paid by the NFL in Indianapolis in 2012 for 73,000 people. You know, I played to
Amazing.
8 people. I played to 80,000 people. So if it ended after this interview, I would have to say I have no
It's been a great
regrets.
ride.
I have
It's
no
been a great
regrets. I've
ride.
experienced a lot. Maybe I didn't get to where I would have liked to have gotten, but I've been on the big. I've been in the big show, man. I've been on the
Yeah,
big
and to think,
stage.
and I can tell you, I've done a lot of great things myself, but I know people, and I myself, look up to that and respect that, and anybody that has dreams wants to hear that, wants to hear that the guy that's done all these great things still not where he wants to be, and that's kind of how music and everything is to me. No matter how good we get, we're always learning. We're always trying to strive to do better, to be better. That's what art is to me. It's that's
Mhm.
our expression.
Well, you know what's interesting? I was watching. I like documentaries because I produce them, and I was watching one last night on the 27 Club. You know, all these artists that passed away at 27.
27, yeah, a
Uh,
lot. There's a slew. Janis Joplin.
and
I mean, a
yeah,
ton. Right.
there's a whole bunch of them. You know, Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, Kurt Cobain. We can go on forever, but and they were talking about how Saturn comes around every 29 years, and that it starts in the 27th year, and they were talking about all these tie-ins. But the one thing that stuck with me was Neil Young was interviewed on the documentary, and he was asked, would you like to burn out or just fade away, right? And he started talking about rock stars at their peak, and all these people that died at 27 were at their peak. But I did my first tour at 55, and I just turned 69, and I don't think I've come close to reaching my peak yet.
Not at
You know
all,
what I
man.
mean?
It's
And
all
you know what,
it's all in
Malcolm?
the
If I had made it at 18 or 21, Malcolm, I wouldn't be
we.
alive. I would have died a
Oh yeah, we would.
long time ago. So I think God gave it to me later because
He knew. He knew.
he felt I had a message to deliver. He wanted me to deliver it and continue to deliver it. And he knew I had to wait until I was old enough to appreciate it. So, my voice is 14 years old. It's not 50 years old. It's not 20 or 30 years old. And, I think I'm a real exception to the rule, and a good message that is, if you believe anything's possible, never give up your dreams, et cetera, et cetera. I try to stay humble, although it's pretty obvious. I don't think anyone's ever done what I've done before. Who starts a band at 54, does their first tour at 55, gets their
That's a
first
real
record
rock and
deal at
roll.
66, has their number 2 radio single, time on radio, at 67, a number 17, which by the way Malcolm mixed each and every day off our last record, Purgatory, that hit 17. I remember talking to Eric before we went to radio, and I'm like, damn, man, if we could break the top 40, that would make my life. And he said, well, you're going a lot higher than that. And I'm thinking to myself, what? And you know, the song went all the way to number 2. Show Me, and then Each and Every Day went to 17. But of course, Malcolm knows that 8 or 9 or 10 of the biggest bands on earth all dropped stuff on radio right about into our 3rd or 4th week of our promotion. So, you know, you are competing with some really big names, but we were competing with everybody, and we still hit 17. I mean, that wasn't top 40, baby. That was top 20.
Amazing.
You know,
amazing.
So I'm thinking, yeah, my mind is still blown, and I'm excited to see what Sip the Cup's going to do. I think Malcolm, you did a great job of producing and mixing that. So
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great, thing for radio and for people in general, people that love rock and roll, man.
What do I know? It was the last song on the record I thought would be a single. You know, the Rolling Stones thought Satisfaction was a throwaway album track. One of their top 3 or 4 hits of all time. So, you know, artists need to be artists, and they need to leave those decisions to producers like Malcolm and record company executives and radio promoters who really have their finger on the pulse, because a lot of songs I thought, you know, should be the one, you know, really aren't the one. We don't know. We write them, we record them, we perform them.
Well, they may be the one for you, but, you know, somebody might be well-lapped a little better to know what the masses, you know. It's
well,
just
there's
like
no
you
question
said.
about it, so I defer. You know, and I have no problem with it, you know. We all have a little bit of ego, but, you know, I try to stay humble, leave my ego out of it, and some decisions you just have to let people that you know that have much more experience make.
Yeah. Exactly. At the end of the day, you know, it's just time. You know, time invested is time returned. It's kind of, you get what you give, and that's in any business.
Yeah,
you know.
So hey, Malcolm,
Yes,
I think
sir.
we're going to wind it up. I want to thank you so much for being here.
I got people hitting me up on the phone.
Yeah, I'm going to let you get back to work. Great surprise having you show up, Case. Thank you so much for your time.
Man. Thank you, brother.
And
Pleasure, man.
let's see how Sip the Cup does. I'll send you the link to the video here as soon as I'm done with my streaming engineer and manager, who's logged onto my computer and behind the scenes doing all kinds of things.
Yeah,
Like Malcolm does that I don't understand because I don't engineer. I got a recording studio over here and I can't engineer a damn thing. You know what? I've done a lot at my age. But beginning to learn Pro Tools and how to engineer is not something I really have I think I'm going to add to my
guys like
repertoire.
this do it, when you watch guys like this do it, it's like, yeah, I mean,
It's just
it's
magical.
It's Chinese writing,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's just so quick and pop. They're so used to doing what they do, you know. It really is. It's like watching Chinese.
Yeah. Well, I've had years watching Jason do it, especially recording demos. I think between the pandemic in March of 2020 and last January, we wrote and recorded 64 demos.
Hey,
That's a few records.
Absolutely. So
Well,
much
we
love
got-
to you guys.
Man,
Love
much
you,
love
man.
to you, Steve. Be
All
good,
right,
brother.
take care, be safe, and may no more tornadoes hit Nashville anytime
No,
soon.
man. How about that? You got out of the nick. And
They hit hours after I got on the airplane to come back home.
the
Okay.
nick of time.
All right,
brother,
goodbye,
take
you
care.
guys.
See you, brother.
Bye-bye, brothers. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed that. And brought up a new idea. I need to call my manager and have him contact Collective Soul, because that would be a great band to tour with, and their former producer produced my new record, so we'll wait and see what's up. As you're seeing pictures flashing of last year, and there's the chart with our first radio single ever hitting #2. Me on the tour bus, our headline whiskey at the Headline show at the Whiskey. Pictures flashing back and forth. And I want to thank everybody for being a part of the stream today. We're going to be having some great guests coming in the future. And it may take a while to get all our followers over here to this platform. But thank you to everyone who participated today in our historic first ever live stream on Discord and to kick.com. Again, go to Venrez, Venrez, theband.com, sign up for the mailing list, and the links are there to be able to watch the music video on the 15th and hear the new song, Sip the Cup, and the video, you know. The links are all there on our homepage. Anyway, thank you. Much love to everybody. Stay safe and keep on rocking.
Deep, this will never go away.